In a quaint little town where everyone knew each other's names, there lived a woman named Clara. She was the embodiment of simplicity and humility, traits that she wore like a second skin. Clara was in her mid-30s, with chestnut hair often tied back in a loose bun and a penchant for wearing comfortable, practical clothing. Her wardrobe consisted mainly of faded jeans and oversized sweaters, reflecting her practical approach to life rather than a desire for fashion. Clara spent her days teaching art to children at the local community center, where her passion shone through every brushstroke and craft project. She believed that creativity had the power to transform lives, a conviction that resonated with her students. The laughter of children filled her classroom, and the joy she felt while inspiring young minds was immeasurable. Clara's modest salary was enough to cover her needs, and she found fulfillment in the simple pleasures of €1, a hot cup of coffee on a chilly morning, tending to her small garden, or taking long walks through the nearby forest. Her home was a reflection of her character, cozy and inviting yet unpretentious. Walls adorned with her €1 artwork and photographs captured memories of cherished moments. Clara had no interest in material wealth. Instead, she valued relationships and experiences over possessions. Every weekend, she volunteered at the animal shelter, tending to the abandoned cats and dogs that had been left behind by others. Her heart was big enough to embrace their plight, and she found purpose in giving them care and love. Despite her humble lifestyle, Clara was married to Marcus, a billionaire who had built his fortune from innovative technology ventures. Their marriage was an unlikely €. She was grounded in reality, while he danced through the world of luxury. Marcus adored her for her authenticity and zest for life, often saying that she brought color to his otherwise monochrome existence. While he lived in a world filled with opulence, Clara remained anchored in her modest values. However, as much as she loved him, Clara sometimes felt overwhelmed by the extravagant lifestyle that came hand in hand with being married to a billionaire. Invitations to glamorous parties and high society events often left her feeling out of place. She preferred intimate gatherings over grand celebrations, cherishing meaningful conversations over superficial interactions. That day began like any other, with Clara planning a weekend art project for her students. Little did she know that soon she would find herself at a car dealership not out of desire for luxury, but rather out of necessity. She needed a reliable vehicle to get to work and run errands. As she stepped into the dealership later that afternoon, she carried with her the spirit of simplicity, unaware that this simple visit would lead to an unexpected twist in her €'s narrative. Clara stepped into the car dealership with a sense of purpose, her mind focused on finding a reliable vehicle that would help her navigate the daily demands of life. As she walked through the gleaming showroom, the bright lights reflected off the polished surfaces of luxury cars, creating an atmosphere that felt foreign to her. The air buzzed with the chatter of salespeople and customers, each voice punctuated by the hum of excitement that accompanied high-end purchases. Clara felt a pang of anxiety but reminded herself that she was here for a practical reason. Dressed in her usual faded jeans and oversized sweater, Clara's appearance contrasted starkly with the sleek suits of the sales staff. As she approached a young salesman, she noticed his initial hesitation, his eyes scanning her attire before he forced a polite smile. "Oh, how can I help you today, he asked, his tone laced with skepticism. Despite his attempt at professionalism, Clara could sense the judgment lurking beneath. I'm looking for something reliable, maybe a used car, she replied, trying to convey her sincerity. My old car has been breaking down more often lately, and I really need to get to work. The salesman raised an eyebrow, clearly unimpressed by her modest request. Have some great models available, he said, gesturing toward a row of luxurious vehicles that were well beyond her budget. How about this one? It's a fantastic choice. He pointed to an expensive SUV, its shiny exterior gleaming in the light. Clara shook her head gently. €OE I appreciate it, but I really need something practical and affordable. €. With each passing moment, she could feel the atmosphere shift as other staff members began to take notice. Whispers floated through the air, and Clara caught snippets of conversation about her appearance and the likelihood of her making a purchase. €osh dos na euro t look like she can afford anything here. One salesman muttered under his breath, causing Clara's cheeks to flush with embarrassment. Feeling the weight of their judgment, Clara's heart sank. She had always believed in the value of authenticity over appearances, but in this moment, she felt diminished and unwanted. After several minutes of being dismissed and treated with barely concealed disdain, Clara decided it was time to leave. She turned on her heel and walked toward the exit, her heart heavy with disappointment. Just as she reached the door, a manager approached her with an air of superiority. Excuse me, masa euro he called out sharply. OE I think €'s best if you leave. This is a place for serious buyers. Euro. Stunned by his outright dismissal, Clara paused for a moment before stepping outside into the cool air. The door closed behind her with a finality that echoed in her mind. As she stood there on the pavement, a mix of frustration and sadness washed over her. She had only wanted to find a reliable car but had instead encountered judgment that made her question her worth. Little did she know that this encounter would set off a chain of events that would change everything. As Clara stood on the pavement outside the dealership, the cool air did little to quell the rising tide of emotions within her. She felt a deep well of humiliation wash over her, leaving her shaken and vulnerable. Each judgmental glance from the sales staff replayed in her mind like a loop, their dismissive tones echoing in her thoughts. She had entered the dealership with a sense of purpose, but now she was grappling with feelings of inadequacy and worthlessness. Clara took a deep breath, trying to steady herself as she walked away from the dealership. With every step, she recalled her own values: simplicity, authenticity, and a belief that material possessions meant little in the grand tapestry of life. Yet, the experience had rattled her core beliefs. Why had she felt so small among those confidently dressed salespeople? It made her question if perhaps there was a grain of truth in their judgments, after all. The contrast between her modest lifestyle and Marcuse's opulent world often loomed large in her mind, but she had always believed that love transcended material wealth. However, this incident made her feel intertwined with that wealth in an uncomfortable way. It felt as if she were being judged not just for her clothing but for her very identity: a simple woman married to a man of means who floated effortlessly through high society. As Clara arrived back home, she was greeted by the familiar warmth of her surroundings: her well-loved art supplies scattered across the table and the soul-soothing scent of freshly brewed coffee lingering in the air. But even these comforts felt tainted by her earlier humiliation. She dropped into a chair and buried her face in her hands, allowing tears to flow freely. In that moment, she questioned not only how others perceived her but how she perceived herself in relation to Marcuse's world. Later that evening, Marcus returned home and found Clara sitting quietly at the kitchen table, lost in thought. The love he felt for her surged as he noticed the sadness etched on her face. What happened today, he asked gently, pulling up a chair beside her. Clara hesitated before recounting the humiliating experience at the dealership. As she spoke, she felt an odd mix of relief and vulnerability pouring out of her. Marcus listened intently, his brow furrowing as he absorbed each word. Clara could see his protective nature rise to the surface, and part of her felt comforted by Theta, but another part remained tied to the shame from the incident. I just wanted to find something practical, Clara admitted, but instead, I felt like I didn't belong. Marcus reached across the table and took her hand, his grip firm and reassuring. A euro, you belong wherever you choose to be. A euro, he said softly. While Clara appreciated his words, a lingering doubt persisted. How could she reconcile being true to herself within a world that often overshadowed authenticity with glitz and glamour? The incident had left a scar on her self-esteem that would require more than kind words to mend. Marcus, Clara Euro's husband, was a man whose journey to wealth was marked by ingenuity and ambition. Growing up in a working-class neighborhood, he was the son of two dedicated teachers who instilled in him the values of hard work and perseverance. From an early age, Marcus showed a natural curiosity for technology and innovation. He would spend hours tinkering with gadgets, often taking them apart just to understand how they worked. His early years were spent navigating the challenges that came with limited resources, but those challenges only fueled his desire to succeed. After earning a scholarship to a prestigious university, he immersed himself in computer science and business. His ability to think outside the box caught the attention of several influential professors who became mentors, guiding him toward his potential. After graduating at the top of his class, Marcus entered the tech industry at a pivotal moment when digital technology began to revolutionize everyday life. With an entrepreneurial spirit, he founded his first startup focused on software solutions that streamlined business processes. The company took off quickly, attracting investors eager to support innovative ideas. As success followed success, Marcus found himself navigating boardrooms filled with high-powered executives far removed from his humble beginnings. By his 30s, Marcus had become a billionaire through strategic partnerships and groundbreaking innovations that reshaped industries. His luxurious lifestyle included sprawling homes in exclusive neighborhoods, private jets for business trips, and vacations in idyllic locales around the globe. While many envied him for his wealth, he remained grounded by the lessons learned during his formative years. Yet despite this opulent lifestyle, Marcus never lost sight of what truly mattered: love and relationships. Clara entered his life like a refreshing breeze. She was genuine and thoughtful, a euro, qualities that contrasted sharply with the cutthroat environment he was accustomed to. Their romance blossomed from shared interests rather than societal expectations. Clara's art and her passion for teaching drew him in even further. As they built their life together, Marcus learned to appreciate the beauty of simplicity through Clara's eyes. He admired her ability to find joy in everyday moments, a euro, whether it was painting a canvas with children or volunteering at the shelter, a euro, and he often credited her with adding depth to his otherwise glamorous existence. However, there were times when their contrasting backgrounds caused friction between them. While Marcus thrived in high society circles where appearances often dictated value, Clara clung steadfastly to her beliefs about authenticity and worth beyond material possessions. She sometimes felt overwhelmed by the extravagant lifestyle that surrounded her, but she loved Marcus fiercely and believed their differences enriched their relationship. Still grappling with feelings of inadequacy after her experience at the dealership, Clara realized that her husband's world was much more complex than it appeared, a duality that intertwined luxury with love in ways she struggled to reconcile within herself. The morning after Clara's humbling experience at the car dealership, the sun shone brightly, casting a golden hue over her small town. Despite the warmth of the day, Clara's heart felt heavy as she navigated her usual routine. She occupied her time with teaching art, pouring herself into her students' projects to distract from the lingering feelings of inadequacy that had followed her home the previous day. As she returned from work later that afternoon, she noticed an unusual sight outside their house, a gleaming Rolls-Royce parked in their driveway, its deep black paint shimmering like onyx in the sunlight. Clara's breath caught in her throat. It was a vehicle that belonged to a different world altogether, a world of luxury and privilege. For a moment, she stood there frozen at the sight, uncertainty washing over her. When Marcus arrived home shortly after, he carried an air of excitement that contrasted sharply with Clara's apprehension. "A surprise, he exclaimed with a wide smile, his eyes sparkling like the car's polished chrome. A euro I thought it was time for an upgrade, a euro. Clara forced a smile, her mind racing. A euro an upgrade, a euro. She glanced warily back at the car. A euro but I didn't euro T want anything extravagant, I just needed something reliable to get to work. A euro. A euro I know a euro, he said softly, stepping closer and taking her hands in his. A euro but I wanted to show you that you deserve more than just a simple car. You bring so much joy and inspiration to those around you, a euro, especially your students, a euro, and I want you to feel valued in every way. A euro. While part of her felt thrilled by the gesture, another part recoiled at the idea of accepting such lavishness. The Rolls-Royce represented not just luxury but an entire lifestyle that she often felt out of place within. Clara hesitated, struggling between her values and the love behind Marcus's gesture. A euro Marcus, a euro, she began, her voice quavering. A euro I appreciate this, really, but it feels overwhelming. I love my art classes, and I love giving back to others. I don't a euro need a car like this to feel important. A euro. Marcus noticed the conflict in her eyes and his expression softened. A euro I understand your hesitations, a euro, he replied earnestly. A euro but this car isn't a euro just about status, it symbolizes how much I cherish what you do and who you are. It a euro meant to be a reflection of our shared life together. A euro. Clara felt a wave of emotion crash over her as she considered his words. The tension within her began to dissolve. Perhaps it wasn't a euro just about flaunting wealth, perhaps it was a symbol of his support and admiration for her unwavering authenticity. As they settled into the plush leather seats of the Rolls-Royce, Clara felt a strange mix of exhilaration and apprehension. This extravagant embrace was unfamiliar territory, it was both beautiful and intimidating, highlighting the essence of their relationship, a euro, a connection forged between love, underlying principles of authenticity, and an acceptance of their contrasting worlds. As Clara sat in the luxurious Rolls-Royce, the plush leather enveloping her, she felt a stir of emotions swirl within her. It was a stark contrast to the modest world she cherished, one filled with simple pleasures and meaningful connections. Though she understood Marcus Euro's intentions, the grandeur of such a gift ignited conflicting feelings that she couldn't easily dismiss. The memories of her experience at the dealership loomed large, like dark clouds hovering over her thoughts. The judgment she faced there had made her acutely aware of how society often equated worth with wealth. She had walked into that dealership seeking validation, only to be met with disdain due to her simple appearance. Now, as she sat in the very embodiment of luxury, Clara felt a strange sense of guilt creeping in. Did accepting this car mean she was compromising her values? Would others view her as someone who had abandoned her true self for material comforts? Her mind raced with questions. Clara loved teaching art to children, showing them the beauty of creativity without the need for extravagant things. She found joy in volunteering at the local animal shelter, where their need for kindness reminded her of what truly mattered. The Rolls-Royce seemed like a stark departure from those principles, a euro, a symbol of status that felt so at odds with her belief in humility. Turning toward Marcus, she searched his face for reassurance. His excitement was infectious, but she couldn't shake the knot tightening in her stomach. A euro I appreciate this gift, but it feels so overwhelming, a euro, Clara said softly, her voice wavering. A euro I don't a euro want people to think I a euro am someone who values luxury over simplicity. A euro. Marcus's brows furrowed slightly as he processed her words. A euro I understand your concern, a euro, he expressed gently. A euro but this isn't a euro about flaunting wealth or status, it a euro about celebrating you and the incredible person you are. You deserve to feel appreciated and valued for all that you do. A euro. Clara took a moment to reflect on his words. While she admired the sentiment behind the gift, a part of her remained resistant. She didn't want to become ensnared by the trappings of wealth nor lose sight of the very qualities that defined her: genuineness, compassion, and a commitment to living simply. The sparkling Rolls-Royce was exquisite, no doubt, but it also served as a reminder of the divide between her world and Marcuse's. As they drove through their town, Clara watched people going about their lives: families milling about in parks, children playing in backyards: and felt a pang of longing for the simplicity that brought her contentment. Each glance at the luxurious surroundings reminded her that they were worlds apart. What seemed like a dream to some felt like a burden to her. Amid all these mixed emotions, Clara understood that accepting the car didn't mean rejecting her core values. Perhaps it was possible to embrace both worlds: the opulence of Marcuse's life and the authenticity of her own. It would take time to reconcile these feelings fully, but for now, she could hold on to both love and authenticity as they traveled together into uncharted territory. As they continued their drive through the town, Clara turned to Marcus, her heart heavy with questions she could no longer hold back. Can we talk, she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Of course, he replied, sensing the weight of her emotions. He pulled the car over to a quiet spot near a park, its vibrant colors reflecting the season's warmth. What's on your mind, Clara took a deep breath, gathering her thoughts. Just that I feel so conflicted about this car. I know you meant well, but it feels like an extravagant gift that I don't deserve. She glanced out the window, watching children joyfully playing in the grass. I love my life as it is: teaching art, volunteering: and I don't want to lose that connection to simplicity. Marcus nodded, his expression serious but understanding. I get that. You've built a beautiful life grounded in meaningful experiences and relationships. But wanting to give you something nice doesn't mean I want you to abandon those values. It's about celebrating who you are. Clara turned back to him, her brow furrowed. But what does it say about me if I accept such luxury? I don't want people to think I've changed or that I've become someone who values material things over what truly matters. Clara. Marcus began gently. Accepting a gift from me doesn't mean you value wealth over authenticity. It means I appreciate you and all that you do. It's okay to enjoy nice things without losing sight of your core beliefs. She considered his words, feeling a flicker of hope amidst her uncertainty. I want to believe that, she said softly, but it's hard when the world around us often equates worth with what we own rather than who we are. I understand completely, he replied with sincerity. Lived in both worlds: one where success is measured by bank accounts and another where true happiness comes from love, creativity, and connection. He paused for a moment before continuing. Remember when we first met? You showed me how to appreciate life beyond the glow of a high-powered career. You helped ground me when everything around felt superficial. Tears welled in Clara's eyes as she listened to him speak. You always valued me for the person I am, she acknowledged, her voice trembling slightly. But sometimes I wonder if I can navigate this world without losing myself. Marcus reached out and took her hand in his, giving it a gentle squeeze. You can. Just because we have different lifestyles doesn't mean we have to sacrifice what we believe in. Our love allows us to grow together while staying true to ourselves. Clara felt a warmth spread through her at his words, realizing that their relationship was rooted in understanding and acceptance of their differences. As they drove away from the park, she began to see how their contrasting worlds could coexist harmoniously. Maybe accepting this car can be a new chapter for us, Clara said slowly, finding courage in her heart. Eon where I can embrace both my simplicity and your generosity. Exactly. And together we can redefine what truly matters in our lives, Marcus replied with a smile, his eyes sparkling with pride and love for her. With those words between them, Clara felt lighter, as if a burden had been lifted, and she knew they could navigate whatever challenges lay ahead together. The Rolls-Royce stood proudly in the driveway, a shimmering representation of luxury and sophistication. To many, it was simply a high-end vehicle, a status symbol often associated with wealth and power. But for Clara and Marcus, it embodied much more than that. It served as a metaphor for their relationship and the blending of their distinct worlds. As Clara sat behind the wheel for the first time, she marveled at the craftsmanship surrounding her, the sumptuous leather seats, the intricate wood accents, and the state-of-the-art technology. Each feature spoke of opulence and excess, yet as she explored the car's interior, she felt a deeper connection emerging. This wasn't just Marcus's world, it was becoming part of her narrative too. The Rolls-Royce symbolized the journey they were on together, a union forged from love but tested by their contrasting lifestyles. It represented Marcus's desire to share his life with Clara while honoring her beliefs about authenticity and simplicity. Despite its luxurious nature, this car was an extension of his appreciation for her spirit and dedication to living a meaningful life. However, Clara couldn't escape her initial discomfort. The very opulence that drew her in also brought back memories of judgment from the car dealership, the stares that had made her feel small and unworthy. In that moment of reflection, she realized the Rolls-Royce was also a challenge. It invited her to confront the very insecurities that had been stirred within her. Yet, as she drove through town with Marcus beside her, Clara began to see how they could redefine success and fulfillment together. Each passing familiar face represented people who lived lives grounded in community and connection, reminding her that worth was determined not by possessions but by relationships and shared experiences. The car became a bridge between their disparate worlds, a way to navigate both luxury and simplicity. Clara glanced at Marcus as he smiled at her from the passenger seat. In his eyes, she saw acceptance and admiration rather than judgment. The Rolls-Royce wasn't merely his gift to her, it was their shared vehicle onto which they could project their values together, a blend of ambition and authenticity. As they traveled side by side, Clara acknowledged that embracing this new chapter meant integrating aspects of both their lives. The car could be seen as a means to explore new possibilities, a way for them to engage more deeply with each other's worlds while remaining true to themselves. It might take time to fully reconcile these feelings, but this collaboration opened doors she never imagined were possible. In accepting the Rolls-Royce as part of their journey together, Clara began to recognize it not just as a luxury item but as a symbol of growth, an opportunity to merge ambition with authenticity while navigating love across vastly different backgrounds. And in those moments spent driving side by side, she felt empowered. Perhaps this extravagant gift could indeed serve as an invitation into a future where both worlds harmoniously intertwined. As the days turned into weeks, Clara found herself on a journey of acceptance, gradually coming to terms with the luxury that accompanied her marriage to Marcus. Each time she stepped into the Rolls-Royce, she felt a mix of excitement and apprehension, but with each drive, something shifted within her. The car had transformed from a mere symbol of wealth into a vehicle that represented her evolving identity, a blend of her simple roots and the opulence of her new life. One sunny afternoon, Clara decided to take the Rolls-Royce for a spin around town. As she drove through familiar streets, she noticed people's reactions, some looked on in awe, while others offered warm smiles of recognition. It was then she realized that their perception didn't define her, rather, it was how she chose to view herself. The car became less about status and more about freedom, the freedom to live authentically while embracing the love and support that Marcus provided. On weekends, Clara began organizing art workshops in the local community center, inviting children to explore their creativity. She used the Rolls-Royce to transport supplies and even host small gatherings for families. Each time she arrived at the center in the luxurious car, she felt a sense of pride rather than guilt. It was a tool that allowed her to share joy with others in ways that aligned with her values. One evening after a successful workshop, Clara and Marcus sat together on their patio under a starlit sky. She took a moment to express her feelings about how far she had come. Clara began hesitantly. When I first saw the Rolls-Royce as my gift, I thought it would pull me away from who I am at my core. Marcus listened intently as he sipped his drink, his eyes encouraging her to continue. But now, she continued with newfound confidence. I see it as part of our journey together. It's not just your world, it's becoming ours. A smile broke across Marcus's face as he reached for her hand. I always believed you defined your way, he said softly. It's about blending our lives without losing what is important. Clara nodded appreciatively. It feels like every time I embrace this new reality, I am also honoring my past the experiences that shaped me while allowing us to create something beautiful together. In that moment of vulnerability and connection, Clara realized acceptance didn't mean sacrificing who she was, rather, it meant expanding herself into new territories without compromising her essence. She could still champion simplicity while enjoying moments of luxury alongside Marcus. As autumn leaves began to fall around them like confetti celebrating change, Clara felt empowered by this balance. The Rolls-Royce was no longer just a lavish gift, it had become an extension of their shared life, a bridge linking two worlds where love and authenticity flourished side by side. With each mile they traveled together in their luxurious vehicle, Clara discovered that true happiness lay not in material possessions but in meaningful connections and shared experiences, a lesson beautifully woven into the fabric of their relationship as they navigated through life hand in hand. As Clara continued to adjust to her new reality, she found that her journey was not just about embracing luxury but also about overcoming the judgments and stereotypes often associated with wealth. The lingering memories of her experience at the car dealership echoed in her mind, but she slowly began to reshape how those experiences impacted her perception of herself. Rather than viewing the Rolls-Royce or any other luxury as something that diminished her worth, Clara learned to wear it like armor against societal judgments. Each time she encountered a stare or an impression rooted in assumptions, she reminded herself that true character isn't defined by material possessions, is determined by integrity, kindness, and the love one shares with others. Clara made a conscious effort to immerse herself deeper into community activities. She organized events at the local community center where people from all walks of life came together for art and creativity. These interactions enriched Clara's understanding of what truly mattered, fostering genuine connections and nurturing relationships rooted in support rather than status. One afternoon during a community gathering, a curious child approached Clara with sparkling eyes. Why do you drive such a fancy car, he asked innocently, pointing toward the Rolls-Royce parked nearby. Instead of feeling defensive or self-conscious, Clara knelt down to his level and smiled warmly. It's just a car, she replied softly. What really matters is not what we drive but how we treat each other. The boy paused for a moment, contemplating her words before smiling back at her. In that instant, Clara realized that empowering messages could create change beyond herself. She could challenge preconceived notions simply by being open and genuine. As these moments accumulated, Clara Euro's resilience strengthened. At social gatherings with Marcus's acquaintances, she no longer felt overshadowed by their wealth or status. Instead, she held her head high knowing that her simplistic roots offered valuable lessons in humility and empathy. In conversations filled with pretentious topics about stocks or assets, Clara deftly redirected discussions toward the importance of art, education, and compassion. Her voice became a beacon in the seemingly aloof environment, a reminder of the beauty found within Euro's simple moments. Through these experiences, Clara learned to define herself on her own terms rather than through societal expectations placed upon her as Marcus's wife. She drew strength from knowing that while their lives might appear dissimilar on the surface, he celebrated success measured in dollars while she honored achievements embraced in smiles, their core values aligned seamlessly. With each passing day spent living authentically alongside Marcus and loving deeply within their intertwined worlds, Clara fully embraced and exhibited resilience against outside judgments. This newfound strength illuminated not only who she was but also reinforced that true worth is founded on character and contribution to humanity rather than what one possesses. In this unwavering belief lay a powerful realization: vote for kindness over materialism, choose authenticity over luxury, celebrate love over judgment, a mantra Clara proudly carried as she moved through life together with Marcus into brighter horizons ahead. As Clara and Marcus settled into a new rhythm in their life together, they both reflected on the transformative journey they had undertaken. For Clara, the experience had been a profound lesson in resilience and self-acceptance. No longer burdened by the weight of societal judgments, she had emerged with a renewed sense of purpose, dedicated not only to maintaining her roots but to creating a bridge between her past and present. One evening, while standing in her little art studio surrounded by the vibrant creations of her students, Clara realized how far she had come. She looked at the canvases filled with the raw expression of childhood wonder, and it dawned on her that this was where her true wealth lay, not in the luxurious car parked outside or the outward symbols of success, but in the connections forged through creativity and compassion. Meanwhile, Marcus found himself navigating a new understanding of his wife and appreciation for their differences. Initially accustomed to the high-stakes world of business where success often felt transactional, he had learned from Clara that real success was measured by emotional richness, the compassion shared among friends and the moments spent giving back to the community. Surrounding themselves with people from all walks of life enriched his experiences as well. In recent weeks, he had noticed Clara's impact on many individuals through workshops and community projects. The way she engaged each persona, regardless of their background or status, brought him joy and reminded him of why he had fallen in love with her. Clara's ability to uplift others extended a warmth that was contagious, seamlessly blending into his previously insulated life. As they participated in events together, Clara could see Marcus thriving in this environment that mirrored her own values. Instead of feeling disconnected during social engagements, he began to relish opportunities to champion authenticity and personal connections. He introduced Clara to his affluent circle not as a trophy but as a partner whose contributions were just as valuable as any business deal he might broker. One crisp fall day, while driving their Rolls-Royce through the changing leaves of their neighborhood, they discussed their experiences openly. Marcus said thoughtfully, I was so focused on my achievements that I lost sight of what really matters, the impact we have on others' lives. Clara nodded in agreement. And I was afraid that acceptance of our lifestyle would make me lose myself. But it's clear now that blending our worlds opens up so many possibilities for us both. With each passing moment, it became evident that this mutual growth stemmed from empathy and understanding born out of their respective journeys. They learned not to shy away from their differences but instead to celebrate what those differences brought into their lives, a more robust partnership built on shared values and authentic experiences. By embracing one another's perspectives, they reinforced a bond stronger than any societal stereotype could threaten to unravel. Their voyage alongside each other illustrated beautifully how love intertwined with empathy can transform challenges into opportunities for connection and growth. With newfound clarity, Clara realized that she didn't have to abandon her values. She could live them freely alongside Marcus, defying expectations while nurturing their love. As they continued down the road together, she felt an exhilarating sense of freedom, one defined not by material measures but by rich relationships rooted in genuine understanding.